What's going on today? We have the RTX 5080. This is the gaming Gigabyte OC model of the card. We'll be pairing it with the 9800X3D and 32 gigs of RAM. Everything used to create this video is linked in the description below. The only thing I want you to do is just hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into the game. What's going on, everyone? We are back in Black Myth Wukong. We have the settings set to low with no ray tracing. That's why everything kind of looks like a potato at the moment. But this is kind of where I start at, is the lowest setting. And of course, the widescreen resolution is 3440 by 1440p. So we'll be taking care of checking out this resolution today. Let's just go ahead and get some of these visuals, upped a little bit. Actually, medium doesn't look bad at all. So we're going to come down here and go to medium. And just as a disclaimer, the Chinese still has not been fixed. However, the little symbol right here that I'm showing you means off. So the frame generation is off, and the boosted reflex stuff, that's what this means right here, that is also off. This means automatic, as does this. This means automatic. This is 2x, 3x, 4x, of course. So disclaimer, if you have this bug, which I think everybody does, that's what those symbols mean. All right, so ray tracing is off, and of course, medium preset here. Let's just keep going. 112 FPS. The visuals look way better. The difference between low and medium in this title is quite nuts. Medium actually looks like a proper modern title, and like I said, low looks like a PlayStation 2 potato game. It's pretty bad. So anyway, this game does still suffer from a little bit of stutters. However, this is running on the latest NVIDIA driver with the latest updates to the title. They are a little bit better. It seems like every now and then you get a little bit of an update that does improve them. I typically get a stutter where this sun is coming through, and we'll see if it does it. Yeah, it looks like they fixed that. That's good, because it always stuttered right there. All right, so let's just check it out. Let's keep going. And we're going to jump over here and go to the high settings, of course. So let's come over here. I'm just going to manipulate that graphics preset. We got high, very high, and cinematic. Of course, everything here is left alone. Nothing changed otherwise. Let's jump back into it. And we are at 84, 81 FPS. We still do not need any sort of upscaling at the moment. This game plays just fine as anything over 60. So without DLSS, we're still looking really good. And yeah, everything's like, kind of performing very well in my opinion. Our PCL is a little higher than what I would want. It is at 61 milliseconds. I like for it to be around 50 if I can do it, which that might be alleviated if we kick on that DLSS reflex, which that's that Chinese symbol that I was telling you about earlier. So I'll cover that when I get to it. But yeah, let's jump down into here and see what we can do as far as going up one more notch. Let's go up and check out very high. All right, go ahead and apply that. So very high gives us about a 60 FPS experience with no upscaling. Again, the RTX 5080 is quite a beefy GPU, and this is kind of a unique resolution that I don't see too many people testing at. So I wanted to take care of that for you guys. I'm going to be doing a lot more widescreen testing. So if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you subscribe so that you won't miss it. And I also like to just see my subscribers go up, because I'm trying to get this channel monetized by the end of December of this year, and you could help me do that. And of course, all the monetization that I get from the channel will be rolled back into the channel by obtaining lower end CPUs, doing older GPUs, as well as some budget builds, potentially some giveaways. So if you want to stay in sync with that news, jump down there, click that little button, and join the club. All right, so let's just keep going. 68 FPS here. I saw some high 50s, but that doesn't give me too much of a concern. I hate to judge a game based on little tiny areas and not like a huge swath of average. All right, so our PCL is way higher than I want it to be. It's at 86 milliseconds. So right here, some upscaling will alleviate that PCL. So that stands for post-compute latency, and that is what we use to measure response time. So the lower that number, the better. All right, so right here at 58 FPS, it's highly playable. However, with some upscaling, we can definitely take care of that PCL. So let's do that now. Let's jump over to the upscaling here and go to a quality preset, which would be about 67%. And as you can see, that got our PCL down to about 71. Still not where I want it to be, but it is better. 75 FPS with a PCL of 70 is not too bad. You know, the frame rate is there. The response time on a mouse and keyboard would be maybe a little bit sluggish. I am on a controller. I tend to play on a controller a lot these days. Just find it more comfortable. But yeah, the game runs really, really well with no ray tracing enabled yet. But that will come into play later. We're going to go through all those settings after a good solid restart. So let's just keep on going and see what we can do to get this PCL under control a little bit more. So let's come over here and go to a 50% upscale, which is what this game really loves for you to be on anyway. If I were to hit recommended settings, it would still say 50% performance upscale. That gives us 67, 69 milliseconds. Now what I'm going to do is jump down in there and turn on that reflex and see if that improves the situation a little bit, because I know that a lot of people care about your response time, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. All right, so that got us way down. Feels so much better. Oh my gosh, even on a controller I can notice when it's that drastic. Yeah, so that's 40 milliseconds, so that is way better. All right, so that is performance upscale. What if we go back to quality just to check what it would look like with that, you know, with that reflex enabled? So 67, yeah, so quality DLSS gives you 75 FPS with a PCL of 46. So this is highly acceptable. Of course, we are not using any ray tracing at the moment. I will do a restart once I enable that and be right back. All right, so we are back at it, and we have ray tracing set to low. PCL still looks really good. We got that reflex turned on in the menu. We are still on cinematic settings with a quality upscale, and we're looking like this is a very viable way to play. Got a nice, decently flat frame time graph. This game, of course, still has a little bit of stutter issues. Nothing too terribly bad, though. But yeah, we are right at 68 FPS with the low ray tracing preset, which is kind of light ray tracing. We're just going to jump down into here and turn it up a little bit, go to medium, and then we got very high. So there is no high. For whatever reason, they named it very high. It's kind of odd. But anyway, medium ray tracing. Go ahead and apply that. Give it a second. It's thinking about it. There we go. All right, so that gives us 61-ish FPS here, 55. Looks like it kind of kicked in finally. So it looks like around here, you know, you could frame gen from here. This isn't exactly a fast game. However, you know, if you wanted to get your base frame rate up a little bit more, going with a balanced upscale might do the trick. So let's come in here and jump into balance, which is 58. This thing automatically moves around on you so much it drives me a little crazy. All right, so that gives you about a 10 FPS insurance, I guess, if you want to call it that. PCL looks really good at 42 milliseconds. So right here, you could consider doing some frame generation, you know, at this level, and then calling it a day. I do want to see what going all the way up to very high does on our ray tracing, and kind of see what it looks like with this title maxed completely out. So we're going to go very high, going to bring it back up to a quality upscale just to see where we're at. All right, so that gives us 48 FPS, 45 FPS. PCL's a bit higher at 68. So some upscaling will get the frame rate up and the PCL down. And this game really does look just fine all the way down to performance, in my opinion. Again, you know, it really depends on the type of game. This is a heavily textured game. It's not a cartoony game with nice, perfectly clean lines. So upscaling is pretty much totally hidden in games like this, especially with a lot of natural textures and outdoor environments like this. You just don't notice it. And, you know, I'll kind of say it till I'm blue in the face. It just the performance you get from going to a performance upscale dramatically outweighs the slightest bit of fuzziness you might see if you like study the crap out of the image. I mean, some folks want to do that, that's fine, but I'm just saying at performance, it looks so good that you get, all that, just full performance back by just that simple setting. And DLSS 4, which is what I'm using now, is such a good technology. It doesn't really degrade it very much at all, if any. I mean, I just can't, like I said, I just cannot tell. All right, so performance DLSS, that gives you 67 FPS, completely maxed out, with a PCL of 48 milliseconds. I mean, you can't really beat that. This is a game that plays very well at 70 FPS, no problem at all. I would just take this and frame gen from it. You have a little bit of these stutters that are just inherent to the title. Unfortunately, I've just not been able to figure out a way to get rid of these. I've tried everything. It just kind of seems to be the nature of the Unreal Engine 5 strikes again. But, they're few and far between, and they're usually in areas that are loading in brand new assets. So it doesn't really occur during like intense boss battles or anything like that. There's another big one that always happens right here in this area, especially when you look out. It kind of happens then. It happened a little earlier before, just now. But let's just come over here and test out some frame gen. Let's see if we get that snag right here at this light. Yep, there it is. It's back. All right, so anyway, let's just keep on going and see what we can do as far as some frame gen. So again, this means off. This means automatic, which is like you just let it determine what to do to, get your frames up. However, we're just going to go with 2x right here. So a 2x frame generation on top of performance DLSS with everything basically completely maxed out. You've got a PCL of 37 and you've got 110 FPS and your performance is pretty good. Of course, it still has those little tiny micro stutters every now and then. Like I said, it's generally traversal whenever you're loading in new areas. It's not typically during like intense scenes with boss battles and big groups of enemies. So for the most part, you can kind of forgive it. But there's just something about the Unreal 5 engine. It's gonna do that in some titles. So unfortunately, there's just not a lot we can do about it. But here we go. We've got another setting we can check out. I'm going to go with FrameGen 4X. All right, let's go to FrameGen 4X and see what that does. That gives us 206 FPS. Our PCL is still at 42 milliseconds, well under the 50 that we like. And there's some micro stutters. That's that just is what it is. But yeah, we're going to come up here and maybe check out what it looks like with a quality upscale in FrameGen and then call it a day, because quality still gave us high 40s. So we're just going to check that out. So let's bring that back up here, come back down to 2x. This is a quality upscale with 2x FrameGen, and that gives us right at that magic 50 milliseconds that I like to have. It allows us to have 87 FPS as well as an incredibly sharp image. Quality DLSS, of course, going from performance to quality, you can definitely, see it. But, I still stand by performance being just such a good setting, especially for very intensely lit games like this. Just the performance you get back is just incredible. All right, so let's check out 4X. And then give it a whirl right here. Let's come back. All right, so here we go. So this is 175 FPS. PCL is 48, right around 50 where I like to have it. So this is probably where I would play it. Just utilizing that 4X FrameGen. Quality DLSS still performs very well. You got a high enough base frame rate to where 4X FrameGen still feels good on a controller. And for a mouse and keyboard, I would probably consider potentially going with a performance upscale with 4X FrameGen, and that would give you a little bit better response time if that's your preferred method to play. But anyway, yeah, that's going to kind of wrap it up here. If you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing. Share this video with someone you think might enjoy it. Let me fight these fools real quick. All right, took care of him. All right, there we go. I'm pretty powerful, so, you know, nobody stands a chance. That's the way I like to have it. But yeah, anyway, again, there's Amazon links down there in the bottom. If you purchase anything through one of those links, even if it's not the item you clicked on, I do get a little bit of a kickback as long as you complete the purchase within 24 hours of clicking the link. I know that was a mouthful, but not a lot of people know that. So you could click on the RTX 5080 down there and then purchase a you know, yoga mat or whatever. You know, whatever you want. A can of green beans. It will help me out. So if you want to help me out with no additional cost to you, that's one way you can do it. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers so I can be fully monetized by the end of December. If you want to be part of that, that would be amazing. And yeah, I'll shut up now, and we will talk to you in the very next video. Peace.